I was inspired by, I suppose, the wider landscape. I grew up sort of, in the countryside, in the Ashdown Forest, and so I've always been influenced by the outside landscape. Knowing that nature's your starting point and you're trying to kind of create an environment or a landscape somewhere where people can enjoy it without necessarily it being at its most extreme or rugged, is making the most of the landscape, just to be able to make it more user-friendly, I suppose, and more sort of accessible. This Sangs here at Walshes Park is a great example of that, because as we arrived it was already an established attractive landscape, plenty of far-reaching views and vistas. Our brief was to make that usable for the general public in various guises, so we had to try and tame some of the landscape and sort of enhance it to make it usable and accessible to most. So that was almost, the great opportunity and challenge of this site. This site, when it was sort of presented to us from Wilden, already had some amazing characteristics in both in sort of landform and designation. There's a scheduled ancient monument on site, which, from my point of view, you don't get that opportunity very often to sort of suddenly start to look at and play and consider how that might limit what you can do, and also point you in direction to sort of make it more of a feature. Perhaps it was unknown to many locals, I would imagine, beforehand, and it's right on their doorstep. This site certainly appeared on the original plans as being quite zoned or sort of broken down into fields. We've tried to make sure that the design routes and pathways link all of the existing field areas, so that you're making the most of the whole area, the whole site, and it gives you a sense of kind of entering one area, appreciating that vista or that view from a certain point, but then the pathways can direct you through to the next field, where perhaps the character might be different and affected by the elevation. You're not going to get quite so many views or sort of the surrounding boundary trees. Certainly we've sort of tried to put a bit more of a design stamp on with the Lime Tree Avenue, which is sort of based on historic mapping, where there was previously an avenue in proximity to where we've proposed and where we've built the Lime Tree Avenue, just to sort of link it back to its past roots. I've been to site and I've had a really good walk around to discover various the attributes of the site, essentially, and that can be the physical attributes of what's here, as well as your views in and out, and how people already use the space in some situations. So back at my desk, I'm using all that information and trying to visualise how that space can be enhanced, or how people might interpret it or use the space. When we first came to site back in 2016, it looked remarkably different from what you see today. Purely just managing the field boundaries in a way, getting them under control, has exposed views out over the surrounding landscape. The clearance of the riverbanks was a big project. We're really pleased with now just to be able to enjoy that view from one field to the next. I mean, when we first arrived here, it was thick with dense vegetation essentially along the tree line. Our plan was to try and clear that through so that you can enjoy the view across the river, if you like, over to the Scheduled Ancient Monument. I look forward to the next 10-20 years of this site developing and establishing. I think it'll be fantastic to see it. The landscape is right here, it's on your doorstep essentially. It's a good alternative to the Ashdown Forest, certainly for a lovely walk or perhaps a picnic. And it's a great it's a great resource to have on the doorstep, hopefully.